Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're unlocking the secret to actually becoming mentally sharper. And the absolute best part, we're gonna do it without adding some exhausting 20-minute task to your already jam-packed morning routine. Let's get right into it.
To start off, I want you to imagine something for a second. Tomorrow morning, you walk into your kitchen. You look around for just 5 seconds, then you close your eyes and ask yourself, what exactly did you just see? Right, you'd probably remember the big stuff, the refrigerator, the coffee maker, but what was sitting right beside the coffee maker? What color was that random object on the counter? Was the cabinet door actually closed all the way? Honestly, you'd probably be shocked by how much your brain just quietly leaves out of the picture. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the autopilot brain. Then we'll hit Habit 1, backward reconstruction. Habit 2, second explanations. And Habit 3, keep asking why. Finally, we'll wrap the whole thing up with a really practical 7-day experiment.
Section 1. The autopilot brain and why we miss the details.
So, forgetting those little kitchen details during a quick 5-second test? That's not actually a sign of a bad memory at all. Your brain is simply prioritizing efficiency. It's constantly deciding what deserves your attention, what can be automated, and what can be completely ignored. And, automatic thinking is fantastic for familiar things, like brushing our teeth or walking down the hall. We absolutely do not want to consciously analyze every single micro movement. But if you want to become truly mentally sharper, you don't necessarily need to cram your head with more information. You just need to get better at occasionally interrupting these mental shortcuts. Let's move to Section 2. Habit 1, backward reconstruction and strengthening your memory sequence. Now, this is an exercise that sounds almost too simple to work. Tomorrow morning, before your day gets totally frantic, try to reconstruct yesterday, backward. Literally, start from the very end of your routine. Maybe you remember checking your phone, and right before that you got dressed, and before that you made your coffee, grabbed your keys, put on your shoes, you get the idea. But as you do this, somewhere along that backward flow, you're gonna hit a complete blank space. You'll think, wait a minute, what actually happened between making the coffee and getting dressed? That blank space, that is the exact moment a highly familiar behavior simply disappeared into autopilot. And this brilliantly illustrates a concept called retrieval practice. It's basically the act of actively pulling information out of your own memory rather than just recognizing it when it's put right in front of you. See, there's a massive difference between someone asking, hey, does it look like you had eggs for breakfast? And someone saying, tell me every single thing you did yesterday morning. By forcing your brain to retrieve an ordinary experience and mentally play its sequence in reverse without checking your phone, you're giving it this tiny, potent cognitive workout that builds much stronger long-term retention. Which brings us right to our next pillar of sharpness. Habit 2, second explanations and challenging your interpretations. Because here is the catch with memory. Even if your memory of an event is absolutely flawless, you can still completely misunderstand why that event happened in the first place. Take this classic scenario. The observable fact is just this. Your coworker didn't respond to your message. Now, how fast does your brain add an interpretation to that? It's instant. It says, oh, they're ignoring me, or they're annoyed, or I must have said something wrong. We don't just observe events in our lives, we interpret them, and we do it incredibly quickly. To counter this rapid-fire assumption, try this quick index card trick. On one side, write down what I think happened, but on the flip side, ask yourself what else could explain it. Let's slow down here for a second because this is vital. You have to generate a plausible, competitive second explanation, not just nonsense. Make that second explanation strong enough that you'd actually have to seriously consider it. Maybe they were pulled into a sudden meeting. Maybe they literally just missed the notification. By doing this, you are forcing your brain to truly pause. What we're really talking about here is cognitive flexibility. That's the ability to adjust or shift your thinking when circumstances or information change. And listen, this habit is absolutely not about forced positivity. You don't have to walk around telling yourself everything is perfectly fine when someone is actually being a jerk. It's simply about building the mental flexibility to keep multiple explanations alive long enough so that you can gather actual evidence. Doing this prevents a massive danger, mistaking an interpretation for a fact. Because that first interpretation arrives so fast and feels so complete, your brain just stops searching for other answers. If you mistake that initial guess for a hard fact, your very next behavior is going to be based on something that might never have been true in the first place. Crazy, right? Let's dive into Habit 3, keep asking why, and finding the actionable root cause. This is honestly the most practical habit of all because it addresses how our brains decide what information even deserves our attention to begin with. Let's say you wake up and your service problem is simply, I'm tired. Well, if you stop there, you'll think you just need some trendy new sleep hack. But let's keep asking why. Why are you tired? Well, I slept badly. Okay, why? I was lying there thinking about tomorrow's meeting. Why? Because I don't feel prepared. Boom. Notice what just happened. You track the problem down to the actionable root cause. The solution isn't trying to force yourself to sleep better. It's simply taking 15 minutes to prep for that meeting before your head hits the pillow. We are all remarkably good at accepting the very first plausible explanation our brain throws our way. Just look at these common ones. I'm procrastinating because I'm lazy. I'm stressed because I have too much work. I'm distracted because my phone is so addictive. If you just accept those incomplete explanations, you are going to end up with completely ineffective solutions. You might try to implement some intense new time management system when your real problem is just a lack of clarity on a poorly defined project. So the crucial point to remember is this. Stop asking why the second the answer changes into something you can actually act on. This habit isn't about deep, endless psychoanalysis. You are not trying to uncover some profound psychological truth every single morning. You're just trying to shift from a vague complaint into a tangible, actionable next step. Okay, so how do we actually put all of this into practice? Let's move to our final section, the 7-day experiment. We are going to bring all 3 of these concepts together into a super realistic plan. And it all starts with the number 1. I want to strongly warn you right now, pick only one of these habits to start with tomorrow morning. Please, do not wake up, try to reconstruct yesterday backward, analyze all your emotions, and question every single interaction. If you do that, you've literally just created a morning routine that requires more management than your actual life. Just pick one small experiment. Keep it simple. Because ultimately, this is what it all boils down to. Mental sharpness is not having a mind that never stops. It's having a mind that knows when to stop and look again. We don't want to eliminate automatic thinking entirely. We absolutely need those efficient little shortcuts. The true goal here is simply recognizing when it's time to hit pause and give a situation a much-needed second look. So, I'll leave you with this final, incredibly important question. Which of your brain's first answers will you question tomorrow? Are you going to test your immediate assumptions about a coworker? Or maybe you'll dig into the real reason you're always running late? Try it out tomorrow morning. See what happens when you don't give your very first thought the final word, and just notice how much sharper you start to feel.